Hi, my channel mammals. I'm actually making a surprise gift for all of the new Patreons that have just joined. Normally, I haven't done that. I did make that special box for the patrons who've been with us for some time, and then a lot of people wanted to join, which was wonderful. But I felt bad that, you know, it would just be kind of it wouldn't be as exciting, and I just wanted it to be so exciting for them, and I just wanted to show my gratitude right up front. So I'm making a special cake for them, and I'm doing it out of ginger, sultanas, cranberries, and what else is in here? Let's see. Yeah, those three things. Plus, I'm just using it so that they all separate themselves out. I'll probably have to do a bit of it myself, you know, separating some of these things that are kind of already clumped together. But the flour will help them to separate. And then I also have pecans, walnuts, and pumpkin seeds, and a few other nuts that I happen to have that will go in also. And also I'm going to put in my crystallized orange rind. So there's crystallized ginger, crystallized orange, you know, zest or rind, and there's cranberries and the what else? The sultanas and the nuts. So let's come over, and at least you can see. This is the mixture of the cakes. Oh, with just the nuts going in right now. But let me just see all the nuts, different kinds of nuts. But let me also show you how I'm going to make these. I wanted them to fit in the same box that the others fit in. Remember, well, you haven't seen all of that packing project yet, but this is just the box. And so last night I went to a shop called New York Cake. It's been around forever. It's an old shop. I don't like it anymore because it looks a bit like a shop you'd see in a fancy mall. It's just ruining New York. It had old wooden floors and old crabby people working in it. I just loved it. And now it's all these modern people who know everything about baking, and I don't know, it's a different attitude. I'm sure it's successful, and I'm happy for them. You see, it says, you might not be able to see it on here, New York Cake. That's the name of the shop. So I thought, and the cakes have to bake. Even though they'll be small, they have to bake for 2 hours in a low temperature. So I thought, oh my goodness, I can't do 2 hours per cake. And I have lovely little shapes of baking tins and things I could have put them in, but it just felt, I don't know, I felt like I had to make the splurge and get something. So I didn't have any expectation that I'd come up with this. It's just a ring. It's very well made, and it's very strong. So I stepped on it last night because, you see, this ring, it doesn't fit in here. It would split the box because it's rounder than the box. But when I stepped on it, it turned into an oval, which I think is so much prettier anyway. And look, it fits right in. It's a little tight on both sides right now, but that's only because the cake will be on the inside of this, which will make it a little bit smaller. Plus, I can squeeze it a little bit more by jumping on it again, and I'm sure it will take on a new form. I'll show you how I jumped on it to make it into this shape. But let's go. I need to put the rind in here, and I just saw something funny that you'll get a kick out of. Look, wait, let me move this table. I got a little overzealous, and I put the orange rind into the bottle before it was really ready. And I've seen it happen that in the summertime, if you still haven't used all your orange rind, which we actually do, we're making it all the time, but it might start to get kind of wet. You know, the sugar will melt. It doesn't hurt it or anything, but it's just not as pleasant as the crystally bites. And so I strapped the jar. I wanted to leave the jar ajar. And so I thought, well, I'll put it on the heater, but it wouldn't work because of this ledge here. It wouldn't stand upright on the heater. So I laid it down, and it happened to fall right into Mr. Duffy's grandmother's rolling pin, where I stow the rolling pin right here on top of the heater, especially after I've been using it to dry it. And the handle of the rolling pin went right into the jar. And then I thought, oh, that's great. That'll kind of hold it in place. And the jar is sitting, you know, is cradled in here. But I was worried that someone would come over and open a window or unstrap it for some reason, or, you know, take it off. And see, I just wanted that air could keep coming into it, and that it would be on the heat to keep it a dry, a warm, dry heat, so that it dried more quickly. So I just took some string and strapped it onto the window and around the jar and around the let for the steam, and down around the pipes and up around the pipes. Isn't that a great invention? So the next time you all have to dry something on your radiator, you now know how, okay? So I'm afraid this is not a very popular video channel. Nothing I do really fits with what you all do. But my hope is that you, I don't know, that you feel freer to do what you would do if it wasn't considered weird. So at least there'll be a few of us in the world that are doing what we feel we should be doing, no matter what it feels like to other people. So there we are. Now back to mixing my my nuts into here. The fruit, but I can't mix the fruit in. Oh, and so I'm going to unleash this. I won't do it with one hand, or probably the jar will end up on the floor. So I'll show you maybe as we get a little farther along. Okay, my channel mammals, I'm just about ready to show you the whole process here of what happened. As I said, when I was in the cake shop, I couldn't find anything that was the right shape for this box besides just a small loaf pan, which didn't seem very exciting to me. I thought I'd find something kind of frilly and pretty, but I didn't, like a miniature bun. But the buns, none of them are oval. And I wanted to use these little boxes that I already had, which is what I used for the original channel patrons from Patreon. And I wanted it to be able to fit in this box. So I didn't even have this box with me. I just imagined the size. And I knew that I saw these, and I thought, oh. And I asked the man, how do you bake with these? And I said, do you just put it down on the baking sheet and not move it until the cake is baked? And he said, actually, yes. So I thought I'd put it on some parchment. And but first, I decided I would make them into an oval by jumping on them or standing on them. And so I just noticed that they have a seam, and this one is a little bit more, not quite the right shape that I prefer, because it's going to be harming the seam if I jump too much more on this. So I'm going to put the seam someplace where it doesn't have the big shape of the oval on the ends near it. Okay, so I'm just putting it down here, and the seam is right here. And I'll just put it kind of here. This is what I did last night. I have to kind of hold it so the seam doesn't get moved. And then I was very careful not to, there. See, it's changing into an oval right away, but it's very strong steel. So I have to work at it a bit. See, it's starting to form an oval, but it's not there yet. And I want it to be a beautiful oval. So, oh dear. I'd like it to, oh, it's not going to stop for me right now. Okay, so also I don't want to fall off of it because it could hurt the oval, you know, by making it. Yeah, this is kind of fun. We could do some kind of a cake dance. The cake walk. I don't know how much this is going to make. I don't think it's going to make a lot. I'll probably have to make the recipe all over again. But I'll try to get enough, at least for the original, the new wave of people coming. Some of you already know who you are. And then maybe some more of your friends might want to come. The more people we have on Patreon, the better. It also frees us up, to not have to stay on YouTube at some point when, if there's any more censoring problems going on or anything of that nature, we can be free to be wherever we want if we have Patreon separate from YouTube. It's hard to explain. YouTube doesn't give very much funding. It's like, oh, nothing. it's pennies. But anyway, it's something. So here we go. And so we want to have more patrons so that we can move into new platforms that are very exciting. New ideas, new fresh thought. Okay, here we go. It takes a little bit of balance to get started here because it's so round. That's why I'm very slow at first. Okay, now it's getting, okay, this is good. I'm gonna put my other foot on top of this foot. Okay, it's getting there. I was gonna put it in a vice grip, but it's so cold out in the cargo deck. I just thought if I can make it happen, it would be great, and it is happening. Okay, now I should take a check each time. I don't want it to get too. Oh, this is quite lovely, and see, it's a very good fit for the box. I won't have to do so much packing as I did with the other shipment because the cookies are so delicate, and this one's still a little odd shaped, so I'll work on it. One more thing I was going to do is, I forgot because I have it covered up with this bulky apron, but I thought you might be interested in my dress. I just forgot, but it has a great little story to it. Wait, I'm trying to, well, it's not a great story, but it's a little story. Okay, so this dress, it's very hard to explain how heavy it is. It is heavier than any coat. Can you see? It almost has a life of its own. It's so thick, the wool. It doesn't have any lining. See these straps? There's no lining, just a binding. And yet they hold all their form all the time. No matter, even if I have on, and I wear lots of long underwear and jumpers and blouses and everything under them, and lots of leggings, and heavy, more than one pair of heavy wool socks. These are our socks that we designed, some socks that we designed. Yep. But anyway, it has big pockets here, and it has beautiful pewter buttons. Maybe you can see those. I've been making a mess in it, so it has, you know, flour all over it and all, but anyway, it's big enough that I can wear lots of heavy clothes under it. And also, it also has a jacket, which I didn't wear it, but I will try to show you with it, with the jacket too. Now, just guess what this jumper is for. It's for skiing. When we went skiing in the Alps one time, I didn't have a ski suit. And I thought, well, I have this heavy, heavy wool. So we skied all over the Alps with me in a dress. And when I fell down, I had lots of long underwear underneath and trousers and everything. So I never had any problems, but it was so much fun skiing with the blue sky and the white mountains everywhere. And it's actually where we first fell in love with wire-haired dachshunds, was up in the Alps, because the people up there have those dogs and they are so rugged and just having such a fun time outside in that wild atmosphere. And that was the first time I just thought, oh, they're the best. I just love them. They're real rugged and heavy and just all muscle and just lovely little animals. But anyway, so this was complete freedom for skiing. I could do anything I wanted to do. I could go down I could go through any glades. I could go over moguls and flying off of jumps and everything I wanted to do wearing this dress. And I don't know why more people don't ski in their dress. I also swim in my dress. I just remembered maybe everything could be in a dress. There's really no reason why not. So I thought you'd enjoy it, and I will try to show you the jacket when I'm down near my dressing room. I don't change my clothes very often because it's so cold in my dressing room. But so I've been wearing this, and I thought, well, I might as well explain it.
Good morning, my channel mammals. I was just wrapping up some of these little cakes, and I thought, you know, it's not especially special, but I thought some of you might enjoy seeing them being wrapped.
I wrapped them like this, in this, it's kind of like a glassine paper, but it's not really. And it was, it was great. Here's the first one that I put together. But then I realized that the butter from the cake comes through, and so I decided to wrap them in waxed paper instead, like these. But then I thought, well, wax paper is a very light paper, and if you don't eat your cake right away, excuse me, sorry, you want to keep it as fresh as possible. So I'm now using a layer of cello wrap and then the wax paper. So these will all have to be rewrapped, and these I'll rewrap as well. Okay, so I'll just show you how I do it.
This is one of the cakes that I'm making for the new wave of patrons coming in, that thanks to the original patrons, they all got a refreshed understanding of Patreon through courage that you've shown them. But this is where I took a round cylinder and squished it by stepping on it with my feet, which I showed you in another video. So this is how I got this shape. And it's just so simple and plain. I love how it's amazing. So that was the first time I've ever stepped on my baking tools. So this is nothing. It's just wrapping with cellophane. Although there is a little thing to think about here. I brought that down a little bit more so that it wraps under, and then this. And just pull it tight around the bottom of it. Right, here we go. Just take two sides of a piece of wax paper right off the roll and fold it over itself, the two pieces together. And you don't have to crease it, but I will, just to help clarify what I've just done. Okay, and then you lay it on the side of where the pleat was just made, like that. And I'm moving it a little bit over so that it stays centered when the piece is finished. Okay, so there we have this. Then you lay it there. Can you see under my arms? And then bend it. See, I've got the pleat part here. Bend it back on top of itself, just a little. Make a little pleat there. I'm doing it in slow motion, so it's kind of hard. And then pleat it on top of that. And that just holds it as an airtight enclosure. And then close one side with both hands. And then take your hands and close the other side. with both hands and then pick it up and tuck it under. So it's nice and tight and airtight and also kind of handsome, don't you think? It's kind of tailored. It has a box pleat in the middle. And so then it's ready to pop into a box, all finished.
Stained glass fruitcake. Oh, that's amazing. And it's just as glistening to the tongue as it is to the eyes.